Hi everybody, Darian here with Pike Outside. I've come out to my local woodland today to do a little review on the OneTigris Black Orca Backwoods Bungalow tent. I'm going to set it up here. It's kind of a bushcraft style tent, so it's pole-less. You have to kind of improvise poles out of either trees or branches or trekking poles or something like that. It's a really cool design. I'm going to tell you what I've experienced with it so far. Sleeping in it one night, and I'll tell you kind of what I like about it and what I don't like. So let's get going here. We'll start setting up the tent here. So here's the tent itself. Like I said, there's no poles in there. It's totally soft, other than it does come with a few stakes. The other thing I forgot to mention is it comes with one of these little Mylar emergency reflective blankets. I think the idea there is in a winter environment, you can put this on the back wall, which you'd have to jury rig up yourself, and create kind of a Morse Kahansky style shelter. The other element it's missing, if you're going to do that, is clear plastic on the front. But I think there is a fundamental flaw in that concept. I think Morse Kahansky's shelter was an emergency shelter. I think it's hard to do as a reusable shelter. It's something that you pop up, you survive, you make it to the next day, and on you go. You try to self-rescue or you wait for someone else to rescue. It's by definition an emergency shelter, whereas this is a tent that I'm going to use over and over. Now, it'll be interesting to try it in rain, in colder weather. I would like to try it with the reflective blanket sometime. Even if I can't get that clear plastic in front. But we'll see. We'll see what the winter brings here. There's the little stake bag. I can hear sand inside of it because last time I set it up it was in a really sandy location. So I brought a little sand with me. Okay, here's the tent itself. Let's get to setting it up. Alrighty, that's the thing right there. Let me give you a little bit of a tour of the outside, then we'll put it in porch mode and set it up on the inside. Alright, this is the front. The front and the back look pretty much the same. Should note, I put a little hole in the front there. I fixed it with some sort of sealing tape. I forget the brand, but seems to hold well so far. I was just kind of playing fast and loose with the durability of the tent. That was totally my fault. Nothing to do with quality issues on the material. I just got a spark on it, had a fire too close. So the trick here is you can see there's kind of some wonky tension. So if you can't set it up like perfectly geometrically square, if you're using some weird tie-out points, it's going to do that. And that is not ideal in terms of wind resistance or shedding water. So the more you practice with this, I think the easier that gets. That's been my experience so far. But every time, especially when I'm kind of in an awkward, tight situation like I am here, we've had some issues with that sort of, I don't know, sagginess or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so here's the back side. It's got an extra tie out, make a little extra room in the back. And I've got it battened down real tight. So you can see here, again, it's really, really tight in the corners. And so that kind of wants to pull up when you really have it pulled out like that. But I think my intuition at least tells me that's going to be less flapping in the wind, and it should shed water better in the downpour. All right, a couple more things of note. Got some vents here. I haven't needed them so far. It's been not too humid yet. We've had a lot of rain, but hasn't been hot. So the only time I've used this overnight, I left it in porch mode the whole time. So I had full ventilation from the front, and I'll show you that there when we get the porch mode set up. But you've got one of these on either end, and it's got little toggles that you can tie the flap up in, keep it open. But of course then you've got this mesh screen, and if you're worried about a downpour, say it surprises you, you have to get up out of your bag, open the tent, come out here on the outside, release the toggle, let it down, and seal it back up. And we're just single wall here. I mean, this is not a backpacker tent. This is, it's a lightweight bushcraft tent is what it is. And I think it has some design flaws. I think it's got some room for improvement, but I still love it. It's just fun. And I think you'll see the fun when we get it set up in porch mode. I don't think porch mode is what it's officially called, but that's what I'm calling it. I like it that way. So let's do that next here. Okay, one thing to note here is they've got little Velcro flaps that kind of hold this piece of material over the zipper to kind of keep out rain, because I don't think that's a waterproof zipper. So you got, I think, 3 of those on each of these sides. And then the thing I'm not sure I still understand is there's a second zipper up here. So you can zip both ways. I don't know if that's supposed to make it easier to get out of the tent maybe in the middle of the night. Kind of zip it down and then slide through. I don't know. But I haven't found a use for this second one yet. So I just keep it up at the top in that little garage up there. There's a good look at the inside. Okay, so I got one corner set up. I'm just going to tie it out in one spot. That's good enough if you're not in super windy conditions. If you are in windy conditions, you probably don't want to be in porch mode. It's just going to be a giant sail. It's going to be a kite, man. Especially if you set it up in the wrong direction. Last time when I camped in it, I had a little bit of wind, but luckily I thought about that ahead of time and I put it back towards the prevailing wind, and that worked pretty decent for, I don't know, maybe 20-mile-an-hour winds. Things still flapped around a little bit, but not bad. Here's something of note. On each of these guy lines that this tent comes with, you get one of these little pieces of plastic. They're just one of those easy tighteners. I don't really like them. I don't use them. I like the Taut line hitch, which you can kind of see right there. See that? 2 on the inside, 1 on the outside. Taut line hitch. So I would say if you know the Taut line hitch, use that. Works better than these things, especially if you're tying around a tree like that. This just gets in the way. It doesn't really function right. It works fine for going to stakes in the ground, but not so much here. And in this case, I'm going right to a tree. So I'm just taking it off. Okay, so Taut line hitch. I like to do this first little loop, just like that. okay, and then actually tie the hitch. This is something I was taught to do in the Boy Scouts, and it seems to work pretty good. So again, 2 on the inside there, and then we're going to come around, do 1 on the outside. It's wanting to twist on me, but I'm going to get it. That's a taut line hitch. That acts like a little lock, but you can still slide it, so that works good. I've got it around this poor tiny little tree, but it's a really flexible cedar tree. It's just a baby, and you can kind of see this is what it looks like. Now I am getting a little wind from this direction, and this is what I was talking about. It'll kind of lift up. So in super windy conditions, I would recommend either putting the porch mode down or just assessing which direction the wind is coming from or will come from and set up accordingly. All right. So this is the glory of porch mode. I don't know why, it just kind of evokes that feeling of being a kid and building your own fort in the living room, or maybe out in the woods like a survival shelter. It's just really cozy. I feel like I slept more restfully in it because of its shape. It gives you more kind of a enclosed feeling versus just a tarp, but it's a little bit more rustic than a modern, backpacking style tent. It's not made out of like NASA grade fiberglass and aluminum or Dyneema or whatever. It's just pretty basic stuff. I mean, it is nylon. This isn't canvas, but you wouldn't want to carry something like this made out of canvas. That would be really heavy. So I'm gonna do a couple more things and show you what it's like to lie down inside it and all that. Okay, here's one thing that they definitely need to improve on new editions of this. This is really hard to buckle up there. These little loops here, they're just not long enough. So I can barely get that toggle around there. So every time I try to do that, it's just kind of frustrating. I'll show you me struggling with it. Okay, so that was about the quickest I've ever got that in there. And one side is worse than the other. I can't remember which side is the bad one. I mean, I'm really good with knots and fiddly little things like that, but this is kind of ridiculous. Okay, so that's one thing that will frustrate you if you get this tent. It's something that's easily remedied. You can just add a little loop of your own, like literally grab a piece of paracord, make a loop out of it, put like a prusik knot in, and basically extend it that way. That's probably what I'll end up doing with that. This is insulated static V by Climate. I like it so far. I've only had it on a couple nights, but it's worked really good in terms of insulation, and it's fairly comfortable. I'm getting older, and so I don't think anything's really comfortable except for a bed. But it works. So there you go, a true bushcraft spirit. I've got my Army surplus style wool blanket. So that might make a good summer setup. Keep you plenty warm. You wouldn't have to worry about anything else. You'd have good padding there. This floor is actually really nice and soft, but it's also sticky. Sticky. Ah. So I am just about 6 foot. So that kind of gives you an idea of your headroom. If you're much taller than 6 feet, if you're 6'2", you'd probably be just fine. If you're 6'5", 6", you'd really be pushing it. You could probably do it at an angle, but this is designed for someone probably 6'2" and under. I still have plenty of room for some gear, and let me show you this. So here's the inside perspective. If you're in here and you have this down, you've got another foot here of space that's not protected from the ground, but you can keep rain and dew off your stuff. Keep, I don't know, mostly just precip, snow, that type of stuff off. So yeah, this is the inside. Whew, comfy cozy, like I said. But see, I mean, doesn't that just feel really cozy? It's a nice, cozy sort of feeling. Yep. Okay guys, that's the Backwoods Bungalow by OneTigris under their Black Orca brand. I think OneTigris tends to do the military style gear, tactical style gear, and Black Orca tends to do some of their more camping, bushcrafting stuff. It seems like all their tarps, hammocks, various types of tents fall under that brand, but it's, I think, the same company. So yeah, there we go. I really like the shelter. I think the quality's kind of standard. It's not exceptional quality, but for I think 90 or 95 bucks is what it's retailing at right now. It's a really decent tent and just a heck of a lot of fun. It just feels cozy. I feel like I could cook under here in a light rain. In fact, I'm gonna try that. I brought a little wood stove. I don't know if I'll film that or not, but I was gonna make myself a cup of coffee. And so, you know, you could do things like that and just not worry about light precip. In a real heavy storm though, you got to batten down the hatches. I mean, there's nothing for a heavy storm, but as much cover as you can get. So anyway, I'll probably continue to use the shelter for some upcoming trips this summer, and maybe hopefully once it gets cold in the fall, winter, get some snow, try it out in that situation. I would like to try that Morskahansky style setup, put the reflective blanket somehow, rig it up against the back wall there, which I'd have to jury rig something and really try that, but that's so fussy. I think the idea was there, but nothing was executed to make that easy. You'd literally have to sew something into the corners, or tape it up or something like that. But you know, if you're in a pinch and you had one of those Mylar blankets with you, you could do it. I always carry a little bit of duct tape around my Nalgene, like that, so I could just pull that off in an emergency and tape it up like that. That might work, that might help. But then again, you wouldn't have that clear plastic here. So I think the idea was cool. I don't think that it's ever going to be a perfect Morskahansky style super shelter, but it's just a fun tent. That's kind of the bottom line for me. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Again, this is Darian with Pike Outside. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. I really appreciate you guys commenting, letting me know what you think. I'm pretty new to filming myself camping, so I'd love to know how I can improve, as long as you say it in a constructive sort of way. Yeah. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. I'll try to keep you up to date on my doings coming up here and the trips I go on, including using this shelter some more. So stay tuned for that. And as always, be kind, be adventurous, and stay cozy, guys. Stay cozy. All right. Thanks.